everybody's doing well. And not what you need, sorry, my bad. Christ and Disciple, aka Answer Philip. I'm back in the building. In the other channel, I am What You Need. And I'm going to talk about the quarterly earnings of uh, Warner Brothers Discovery. David Zaslav on there speaking about their vision, their plan moving forward, and several other presenters. The details, he wasn't very specific about, the Snyderverse or about the direction in which they're going in terms of the Snyderverse. He wasn't very specific about that. But he did say a number of things which fall in line with what pre-Tommy Emmerich Warner Brothers was. So Greg Silverman, when he was in charge, that was the focus of Warner Brothers, quality over quantity. So there's a number of different things that David Zaslav said that sort of fall in line with what we, wanting to restore the Snyderverse, desire. However, this does not mean that, based on the information given, this does not mean that Warner Brothers Discovery is moving in the direction of restoring the Snyderverse. However, faith, let's go into that. Faith, brothers and sisters. I'm going to go to Hebrews 5. If I could find it. There it is. Or maybe it's Galatians. Maybe mixing it up. No. It's Hebrews 11. Faith. If you watch at my profile picture of this stream, you would hear Batfleck, aka Bruce Wayne, say to Alfred, I'm operating strictly on faith for this moment, not on reason. In Hebrews 11, it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for. Hope. Superman, the House of El, the symbol of Superman, represents hope. Batman v Superman showed you the crest of Batman, and inside of the crest of Batman was the symbol of the House of El, which is hope, telling you that at the end of the movie, Batman v Superman would now be a hopeful Batman. Let me say that again, because I know it went over people's heads, so I'm going to say it again. The movie Batman v Superman is about Batman v Superman. In legal terms, V not only means and doesn't always mean versus, though it can mean that. It also means with. with. So, a case of Roe v. Wade is not just Roe versus Wade in principle, but it is also that Roe is with Wade in this particular debate, which must be settled, which has been overturned, as we know, by the Supreme Court. Now understand, to have faith, you must first have hope. That's Hebrews 11, verse 1. To have faith, you need to have hope. So, after Superman died, even before Superman died, when Superman revealed what his purpose was for meeting Batman, and Batman realized what he was about to do to Superman, he realized that the Superman is just brimming with hope. Superman's a very hopeful individual. Batman, after Superman died, took on the mantle of righting the wrong he did to Superman. His whole ideology, mindset. W. Muir, what's up? I'm working right now, but I'll catch up after work. All right, brother. And so, Batman became a hopeful Batman. He became a hopeful Batman. Understand who and what Batman is. Batman is one of the most skeptical individuals you'll find. He's like a policeman. He's like a cop. He's skeptical about everything. Batman operates on logic and reasoning. He's a detective. In Batman v Superman, he went over the deep end because of so much trauma that happened to him. And by Superman appearing on the scene and being associated with so much destruction, particularly destruction that related to Bruce Wayne was not only narcissistic, he was downright murderous, right? He was seeking to murder Superman. His ideology and his understanding was to prevent Superman from annihilating the world. This was his reasoning, but his reasoning was clouded by his emotion, by his internal rage. Who is this individual that has brought all this problems onto my planet? So that Batman was a warped Batman. It's not Batman as we know him, but it was a Batman that was determined to have revenge. And if you go and you read Death in the Family, it makes sense that Batman gets to that point in his head where he believes the deterrent must be destroyed. This is not the first time Batman has, an iteration of Batman in any sort of comic sphere has ever, been murderous in his mind and rationalized. Having said that, Batman in BVS comes to the realization through both Superman being at his will and mercy and speaking out about what Batman is actually about to do. Superman forces Batman to pause because Superman says something which is very important, which is, you are letting him kill Martha. Superman says something that has seemingly nothing to do with the fight scene that is happening, because Batman's perception of Superman is he is a threat that needs to be destroyed. But Superman, in not speaking about himself, not begging for mercy, not even trying to placate or answer him or spit back something like that, but speaks about another person. And the fact that Batman is going to be responsible for the death of that person is what jarred Batman. Batman, it came from left field. in Batman's mind because his mind was focused on destroying Superman. And Superman's mind was not focused on destroying anyone. Superman's mind was focused on saving a life. And so this completely sends Batman for a loop. Okay? On top of that, the name that Superman mentions is Martha. And the situation that Superman mentions mirrors the situation how his mother died. So you have to understand, and that was just coincidental, but nonetheless, even if Superman had said you're letting, you're letting 600 citizens die, even if he had said something like that, it would totally throw Batman for a loop because you have to understand Batman's not focused on Superman as somebody who will save people. He's not seeing him as that right now. He's seeing him as a threat, and he's about to annihilate that threat. So, at that moment in time, this is when Batman is he's calculating now. He's off. He's like, what the hell is this, right? And so he asks Martha, why did you say that name? Why did he say that name? His mind stuck on the Martha part, but he heard Superman say, you're letting him kill Martha. Then he says, find him, save Martha. That Superman literally put guilt on Batman's mind with that statement. Okay? Because Batman had won the fight. Batman had Superman in submission. And Batman was about to kill Superman. And then Superman says, you're letting him kill. And that whole thing right there immediately messes up Batman's mind. And then on top of that, you're letting him kill Martha, which completely messes him up. And he's stuck on Martha. He can't even get past Martha, right? So, what happens is, Batman pauses. Now he's interrogating Superman like a police officer, in tremendous, the good cop, bad cop. He's a bad cop right now. And he's really going in on Superman, yelling at him, and Lois Lane overhears that, and she explains to Superman, as she's panicking, she explains to Superman, Martha is his mother. So now Batman, he backs off of Superman, shell-shocked. He starts to process the situation, because he's a quick thinker, and he's realizing Superman just told him, hey man, you were about to let him kill my mother. And he's like, oh my God, this is the scenario that happened in the alley with me. This is the woman I go day in, day out, and I drop flowers for. This is the one that messed me up. This is the reason why, Thomas Wayne, yeah, that's my dad and everything, and that's why I'm doing this, but mostly my mom, because every boy is attached to his mother more than their father. Your father could die, and you still feel a how, but your mother, oh no, that's a totally different game, right? So, Batman is tremendously disturbed by what he was about to do, and to give you the impact of it, he hurled the kryptonite spear so far away from him. He was so disgusted with what he was about to do. And then, of course, Superman's able to explain the situation. He's so repulsed by his action and so in awe of what Superman is trying to do all along. He realizes this guy, what am I doing here, right? Which is what Alfred was trying to explain to him. He's like, he's not our enemy. What are you doing, right? And again, not mad at Bruce for saying not today. Maybe in the future he could be. I get all of that. But what I'm saying is that Bruce still didn't have his head on. He's making arguments and logic, and he's bouncing the logic back and forth with Alfred, and he's correct in his logic, but his mind is skewed. See, you can have good logic, but a bad premise. If you have a bad premise, you can have perfectly flowing logic, but the premise is wrong, so that the outcome is wrong, right? So anyway, Bruce Wayne wants redemption, and he gets redemption by saving Superman's mother. So he gets that redemption, something that personally is something that he wanted to do for his mother. And so that transforms him into a very hopeful individual. And of course, Superman, again, saving lives, destroying the threat of Doomsday. The real threat was Doomsday. And it was a Kryptonian, half Kryptonian, Kryptonian hybrid. And seeing Superman die to save everyone, sacrifice so much, left Bruce both feeling guilty and also still at the same time very hopeful, because now he was dedicated to doing what he should have done with Superman, which was team up with him. And he's trying to do that with the others because, of course, a lot of the information about Barry Allen saying, find us, Bruce, Wonder Woman, discovering that Wonder Woman is also a meta-human, and that there are several meta-humans walking the world, and all of them could kill everybody. All of them could destroy the world, and like that. So it's kind of like his argument gets flaked out the more he starts to look at what he's really, what his situation really is with Superman. His argument was fading because when he saw that the woman who stole the drive from him was like at least 100 years old, he's like, what the fuck? And then he finds out that there's a cyborg moving around, there's the Flash moving around, and he's like, man, there's all these very, very powerful beings that could destroy the Earth if they go south. So, like, what is really my argument with Superman? You know what I mean? So, and then the other thing is, and this is, I think, where Senator Finch saw through Lex Luthor's ruse. Lex Luthor wanted the kryptonite to annihilate the Kryptonians. But the meta-human thesis is not only dealing with Kryptonians. So she was able to deduce that he wanted that kryptonite to destroy Superman and not other Kryptonians. And also because Superman was the only one moving around. And then, yes, there are other metahumans, but the other metahumans are not Kryptonians. The irony of the situation is that Lex Luthor will use a Kryptonian to try to destroy a Kryptonian. The very same thing he was arguing with Senator Finch that they needed to have the kryptonite for. He goes and makes a Kryptonian. Isn't that crazy? But we sidetrack. We move off course here. Let's get back to what we're talking about. So ultimately, in the end, Superman is shown to believe, he has faith and hope in humanity that they will do the right thing and the civilization will move along the path that can get them better and better till they join him in the sun. And for that hopefulness, which he regained by reflecting on his father, Superman was able to die inspiring hope into Batman. Wonder Woman didn't have that hope. He asked Wonder Woman, and she turned him down, and she went her way. Aquaman didn't have that hope. We saw that in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He turned him down. He went his way. Right? So, Batman now was put in a position where he's hopeful. Alfred is not hopeful. So he's the skeptic. Again, he's bouncing off of Batman. He's always bouncing off of Batman. They bounce, they dialogue with each other, bounce things off of each other. He fails to get Aquaman to join him in the alliance. Comes back, traveled, barren terrain. He's on a horse, he's getting the meals in very harsh weather. Goes to this deserted town, at the end of nowhere, you know, gets slammed against a wall by Aquaman. Aquaman's very hostile, and then Aquaman turns him down and goes his way. Okay? Diana's not riding with him. Diana went her way as well. So, he's 0 for 2, right? Right? But he keeps on going. And Alfred, after he pulls the team together, Alfred comes to him and says, so you did it. You pulled the team together. You did your promise. Why are you trying to revive Superman? And he goes through the different what-if scenarios using logic. And for the first time, I've never heard this in any Batman movie. I've never seen this in Batman animation. I've never seen this in Batman comics. But maybe somebody can educate me on the comics. First time Batman says this, which is not a Batman trait. Batman always comes from reason. Batman says, in this case, my friend, this is not about reason. This is totally on faith. Go back to Hebrews chapter 11. I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, what we are exhibiting today. What we, as the Restore the Snyderverse movement and the Restore the Snyder Cut movement have been doing is operating on faith. And it came from a hope that generated and started to grow. This is real. What we saw on the screen is a real thing. So, if we go by logic and reasoning, there will be other options. When we went to this meeting, or you listened to this meeting with David Zaslav and the rest of Warner Brothers Discovery, there'll be other options. But if you're operating on faith, which comes from a hope inside of you, it's different. What we are putting into practice in this movement, and we keep on going with it, is the attributes that are written in this, in the Bible. Now, remember, I come from a Christian background, so I'm coming from this word. But I want to show you something. Whether it was written in the Bible or it wasn't written in the Bible, these are attributes of life, period. So if you see these attributes in another book or in nature or around you or from people who exhibit it, it's the same thing. I want you to understand what we are going through. The crucible of fire is real. And that is why I appreciate Zack Snyder's movies. It's not just a tale. It's not just a story. Mythos. Zack Snyder took it and made it mean something. It wasn't a mindless mythos. It wasn't a brainwashed mythos. I want you to, whatever it is that your belief system is, ensure it's not a brainwashing. Okay? Understand the principles behind what you believe. And they don't always stop at logic and reasoning, but sometimes a compulsion, a persuasion, and hope and faith, and these invisible attributes that we talk about every single day, which is what makes humanity want to aspire towards. We call them the invisible things. And invisible literally means spiritual in the Greek. Okay? It means spiritual. So when we talk about spiritual things, we're really talking about things that we can't necessarily quantify or we can't necessarily visualize as a thing. Like say, okay, love, that's love right there. And I can give a proper definition for it. It's not very hard to define love like that. Faith is another one. In fact, faith is as spiritual as you can get because it's the substance of things that you hope to happen, but there's no evidence of the things that you're hoping for at the moment. They will manifest themselves later on. Ray Fisher operates in hope, operates in faith. That's what he's operating. When you look at these heroes and the character he plays, which is Cyborg, which is Victor Stone, he's operating on hope. He's operating on the faith that he can unify with the mother boxes, get inside of them, and pull them apart. In spite of the fact that Diana warned him that the mother boxes will tap into his being and find what it is that he wants in his life and try to manipulate his mind. Being thousands of years old, this technology could take him over and kill him. And he says, if I don't do it, they'll kill all of us. He says, you want me to use my gifts? Listen to the words, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a church-going person, we talk about spiritual gifts. The Bible talks about spiritual gifts. What do you think these superhero films are? They're real stuff. This is, see, mythos helps to elevate. It helps to embody the attributes that we as human beings desire to have. Yes? So, no matter what superhero movie you're looking at, the reason you like the hero in that movie, depending on the nature of the hero, but if you like it or you identify with that hero, it's because of certain attributes that hero has. Whether we're talking about The Boys and what's the guy's name, Midlander or whatever his name is, where people watch him and he's draconian in his movements, you may identify with that characteristic of draconianism. And you may say, oh, yes, if I had powers like that, I'd probably do that because that's the way how human beings behave. If you do, some people, look at Brightburn, look at how the young how Brandon behaved in Brightburn, and said, I can identify with that. But their attributes, you have to understand their attributes. Don't necessarily make humanity better, but their attributes, okay? Darkseid. The reason why people like Darkseid is because of the attributes of him. His character, who he is. Okay? Because, I was listening to, what's it called? Double Toasted, I think it is. They're mostly Marvel fans. Two black guys, mostly. And they make jokes. And they roast movies. Particularly DC. But when they were speaking about the villain in DC, they said he was kind of monotone, one tone. Darkseid's one tone, which is not true. But the thing I want to say is this. The reason Darkseid appeals to so many people, just like Darth Vader appeals to certain people, is because Darkseid, obviously he wants to mind control everyone and have everybody under the anti-life equation, under his control. In other words, Darkseid is not interested in necessarily killing the universe and destroying all of it and making it an apocalypse. He's interested in making servants. He wants to rule over everyone, and the way how he rules is by using the anti-life equation. So that Darkseid, for example, if he controls the whole entire planet, whoever is resisting him or rebelling against him, he has the resources of the entire planet. And everyone who is under his control now becomes the enemy of the rebels. So he's not there necessarily to annihilate and kill everything, even though that happens to most of the planet. But whatever survives that becomes parademons, and they're under the influence and control of Darkseid, minions of him. And that's the point behind it. So, to say that yes, Darkseid takes over the world. Well, guess what? Guess what? That mirrors people with power. People with power want more power. Generally speaking, in this world today, that's just the way how it is. So Darkseid mirrors that. Darkseid, people, they were talking about Thanos and how Thanos just wanted to control the world's population and arbitrarily said, well, I have to cut half of the universe's population in half. That's a very arbitrary number. I mean, how long does it take to regenerate half a population? You'll be surprised. It might be very quick because of how more resources and stuff. People will multiply more. They'll have more children and stuff. And then within a year or so, you're back to what you had because people don't understand the equilibrium of how. But nonetheless, it's an arbitrary number. Whatever. They thought that was unique. And they thought it was interesting, which is somewhat interesting in the sense that he's not looking to destroy everybody. But see, understand, that is not that's not the way how the world works that we live in. People with power want to control everybody. They want to play the chess pieces, the pawns on the board. We see it in Hollywood. We see it in the music industry. We see it in boxing. We see it all around. So this Thanos, I mean, it's a different concept. It needs refinement, but nonetheless, it's an interesting concept. But it isn't what happens in our world. That's just what I'm saying. Having said that, the point I'm making is people identify with the qualities and attributes of the heroes or the villains. It is the qualities and attributes. Now, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, for the first time ever, we saw a hopeful Batman that was willing to put faith before reasoning. Okay? And that, my friends, is what we have to do in the Restore the Snyderverse movement. So let's go into David Zaslav and what he said. In the there are a number of interesting points he made. The first one is he stressed on the focus of quality over quantity. Okay? He's interested in the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. In fact, he had them listed out as IPs. He had them listed out. He was also focused. So not all these little movies with low budgets, he didn't think that works. The next thing he said was, he's not interested in going from, he believes in the theatrical release of movies. He believes that should be the focus. And that HBO Max, which is a streaming service, the movies can go from their theatrical run to VOD or SVOD, streaming VOD, which would be HBO Max, to VOD or digital copies. This is the way how they want to stay conventional because they believe the streaming model is not as effective as they're making it out to be, and subscribers is not the be all and end all. But the streaming model complements all the other things that are there. The next thing he spoke about, it's very interesting, was the projects that they kind of moved away, Batgirl and so on. And he explained they're not in serving with their big IP idea. They focus on big IPs, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And he kept on emphasizing that point, the Trinity. And that point is very important because when you look at Black Adam going forward, which they said, they've seen the films, they've seen Black Adam, they've seen The Flash, and, the directors have done a good job, but it can be better, and they're trying to look to optimize them. In other words, they're looking to rework them damn films to make sure that Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman somehow, some way show up in them films. They're really serious about the IPs. Now, if you're talking from logic and reasoning, I would say this. From logic and reasoning, what David Zaslav is saying. Oh, by the way, there's also DC Studios. Now I've seen, they have the different studios there, and in the listing there's DC Studios. Now at the present moment, if I'm not mistaken, Max DeLuca is temporarily over DC Studios at this point in time. And, again, another guy from one of the regimes before. And the focus is on quality. So they're not looking to churn out a whole set of DC films and low budget, low quality sort of stuff. They're looking for movies, and they're looking for creatives, talented creatives, to tell unique stories. They say they have a great catalog of movies, and they're going to put out these movies and the content they have along with discovery content, and they sort of mesh them in. That is to say, they will advertise discovery stuff on, CNN and the sport networks and the HBO Max and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so there's going to be this unity, which is sort of again Zack Snyder's Justice League sort of you know uh, motif, whether it's the unity of the mother boxes or the unity of the league. Unity was a theme in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and you see David Zaslav sort of unifying Discovery with Warner Brothers, integrating them together into one thing. And so the Discovery customers are now going to discover a lot of the movie and entertainment content of uh, Discovery. Shout out to Saul Meyer. What's up, brother? It seems there's a karma cleanse taking place. DC's about to raise the bar. Absolutely, they're going for quality over quantity. Now, let me make it abundantly clear, so that we can get this right. David Zaslav did not say restore the Snyderverse. Now, some of the things he's doing is lining up with that, because it reminds me of Alan Horn and what's the guy's name? I forgot his name. What they used to do before, DC used to do before. Okay, whether it's Alan Horn or it's Greg Silverman, these kinds of guys, these old guys, they believed in the directors, they believed in the director's vision, and it seems as though it's going back to that. Okay, which is a very, very good thing for him to say to investors. And they explained the economics of the situation and how they intend to go over the 10-year period, how they intend to move forward. And they explained the shortcomings of the previous administration in terms of how HBO Max was utilized, in terms of how movies were processed. And they said they're very efficient, because Discovery has 30 years of this. They're very efficient at getting that product to consumers that they want. This is very important to understand. We in the Snyderverse and DC fans are only part of the consumers that Warner Brothers and Discovery have. So now, remember, there are Discovery consumers, which are mostly women, but there are Discovery consumers out there who will also be interested in some of the stuff, the content of Warner Brothers. So understand that. Warner Brothers is a news network. Warner Brothers oversees sport. Warner Brothers oversees entertainment content. And Warner Brothers has a huge portfolio. So Discovery kind of came into something, is a really big opportunity for Discovery. Now, having said that, it is clear to me as day that David Zaslav is paying attention to, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody in WBD is paying attention to our movement. What I will say is clearly David Zaslav is moving forward with Black Adam, and he is moving forward with The Flash. He mentioned those two specifically. He said there needs to be some improvements. They're looking to get it better, but he's moving forward with them, which is a good thing, because he's leaving all options open. He said they're willing to work with anyone and everyone. In fact, some of the IPs will be licensed out to other networks, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Amazon Prime. They have a lot of content. They're going to license out some of that content to different platforms so that they can utilize that content, which is a brilliant thing. Again, they even talked about accessibility, where they're going to have ads. So ads can allow certain people to get free content from them, and then you have um, premium content, which will have no ads, and certain things which are exclusive, say to, for example, HBO Max or to Warner Brothers, that they want to present. They will keep that over there. So, in short, what I'm saying is that, and Warner Bros. Has gigahertz of content, okay? 50 years of content. So there's a lot of content with Warner Brothers. Now, why that's very important to understand is because um, their move forward is a very comprehensive one, and they understand what they need to do after 100 days of looking at things and moving in people into the right places and so on. And what I want to say is, I think it's very smart on their end what they're planning to do, and they seem to be very clear on what they want to do, and they understand the pluses and minuses and the way how the industry is right now in the world. So they understand all these things. But what I want to say is, I think this is the best opportunity we will have to restore the Snyderverse. Again, we have to be hopeful about it. We have to have faith. We can't just go on reasoning, because if we go on reasoning, they could clearly start something totally new and totally different using Superman, Batman, and whatever. I don't believe that, and I'm going to tell you why. Saul Martin says, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Snyder comes back to fulfill the Justice League-centric movies. I'm a couple of years after the brand and universe has been established. Yes, there's several different things I want to say, though. The first one is the Batman IP seems to be exclusively now consolidated to Ben Affleck. If you pay attention, even in the Flash movie, Michael Keaton's there, but Ben Affleck's there as well. And if you pay attention, Ben Affleck's Batman is going to be in Aquaman. Okay? And we saw the picture of Jason Momoa and Ben together. So what this is saying is, Zaslav is keeping Ben Affleck as Batman. Right? He's keeping him as Batman. Now the question is he keeping Henry Cavill as Superman? That's the only question in the whole thing. We have Henry Cavill, who, if he shows up in Black Adam, or if he shows up in any movie, we know Henry Cavill's there. And if Henry Cavill is there, and let me explain something to you guys, because this is very important. If Henry Cavill's there, and Batman is there, Zaslav specifically spoke about Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Then he also spoke about Aquaman. I'm trying to remember if he spoke about the Flash, obviously. Did he speak about Cyborg? I didn't hear him say anything about Cyborg. I don't think I remember him saying anything about Cyborg. But here's the thing. And this, let me say, I think Justice League 2 and 3 is closer than you think. But let me explain myself. Ben Affleck is going to be in Aquaman. Ben Affleck is going to be in The Flash. We know this. That's 2 movies Batman is in. Now the question is, will Henry Cavill's Superman somehow, some way, show up in some form in Black Adam, or in The Flash, or in Aquaman? This is the question we don't know. Because if that happens, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you, we will see Justice League sooner than you think. And my feelings are, because I saw Zack Snyder show up in Teen Titans, and it looks like, because Zack Snyder was in nothing, right? All of a sudden, the door started opening, and we seen Zack Snyder in different things, right? If that's the case, it may be, I'm not saying it is, but it may be Zack Snyder who will direct that movie. It has to be sooner than later, because these actors are getting older, right? They're getting older. They're not getting younger. The stories that Zack Snyder may have to tell may be slightly different because of different players that are in the universe. So, and I'm sure Zack has something up his sleeve already, and he's probably tweaking it as we talk. So what I'm saying is that this is an exciting time, and I'm telling you guys, faith is what we're going on. We have to go on faith. I don't think David Zaslav is stupid at all. And I don't think, I mean, Jason Keeler, he kind of failed, but he kind of succeeded in the sense that Jason Keeler sort of allowed us to get the Snyder Cut, okay, under his watch. Shout out to Saul Martin. Got you, man. Great question. I'd imagine he's being saved as a massive surprise in Black Adam. Maybe. We'll have to see. There needs to be a sign. And if I was the Rock Johnson, you know, DJ, I make sure DJ should try and leak that as soon as possible. Another question is to raise is if they will follow Snyder's lead and have Darkseid as the big bad for Justice League flick. Yes, sir. Yeah. So I believe Darkseid's definitely coming back. It was lined up to have new guards and stuff like that, but I don't know how they may have it after or before. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But what I am sure about is Darkseid is going to be the main baddie. They're gonna definitely bring that down. Now we had the showdown. I titillated everybody, and now they're gonna Ray what's his name, Ray not Fisher, the other Ray who plays back Darkseid. I think he's gonna have some work, which is great. I would love to see new guards as well. New guards is a thing that I really want to see because I want to know, you know, Mr. Miracle, Darkseid, New Genesis. And you got to see that stuff. That's otherworldly. It's gonna be crazy, you know. And you do realize that the technology of and it was even said in the movie with Silas Stone, the technology of Krypton and Apocalypse, they have similarities, right? They have similarities in properties. So this is very, 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 very interesting. I would love to see those worlds because I saw what Krypton looked like. I would like to know what Apocalypse would look like. Well, we actually saw Apocalypse. Darkseid was on Apocalypse, and you were seeing the big plumes of fire coming up and stuff. So we see an Apocalypse. Now we need to see New Genesis. I mean, that's world building right there. That's gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? So, New Gods is something you gotta DC property. You gotta see that. You gotta see New Gods. You know what I mean? That's something I'm burning to see. The other stuff I'm burning to see is like Batfleck's movie, man. We need to have a Batman movie. And I believe they canceled the Batgirl movie because they're making room for the Batman movie. So Ben Affleck's definitely going to have that Batman IP. You heard him. He focused on Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. He said it multiple times. So I believe we're going to have a proper Wonder Woman movie. I believe we're going to have a proper Batman movie. Not to say that Matt Reeves didn't do a great job with Batman. I knew he was going to do a good job. I just didn't support the movie because of what Jeff Johns did to Ben Affleck. That's why I didn't support the movie. I know it was a good movie. You don't have to tell me that. I know. Yeah, I never bashed Robin Pattinson. I never bashed Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves did a good job. The movie didn't make as much money as maybe some people expected, but it made good money. So I ain't mad at it. Okay, and Matt Reeves is a great director, so I'm not mad at it. Okay, and it was a good, it's a serious movie. It's a solid movie. It's good. I like that. Okay, but what I believe Ben Affleck was bringing to the table. I mean, Matt Reeves, great director and everything, but I just believe that Ben Affleck was bringing something special to the table. Different characters, fresh new look, situation that Batman's in. It's just something different Batman because he's an older bruiser Batman. I mean, it's just something we want to see. I mean, Arkham games, Deathstroke versus Batman. I mean, come on now. I mean, you couldn't go wrong with that movie. That would have been hype. That would have been hype movie. You know what I mean? So, I mean, It is what it is. But if you want excitement in DC, I'm going to say it again. If you want excitement in DC, if you want to see the DC house fall all the way down with excitement because the fire just be blazing like crazy, mention anything that had to do with the Snyderverse. Anything. The Snyder Cut going into theaters, because Zaza was talking about going to theater. And I know why he's doing. Again, to me, I mean, I'm just interpreting the guy, but from what I see, there have been box office flops at the theater, and Zaza said we need to focus back at the theater. And what better way to focus back at the theater than bring the Snyder Cut into theaters? God damn. Smoke it. God damn. But you don't have to do that. You could also restore the air cut. See, any one of those two things that Zaslav does is going to get all of us going nuts. And we're definitely going to be on board with whatever. But they have to do something of good faith to the DC fans. And they got to be explicit about it. And I know this was just for investors. It wasn't for us, right? What they're going to give to us is... But what they did in Comic-Con, if Zaslav and they were behind that, then that was shit. But if not, then we're learning. Now there were some things they said, like they're talking about moving in phases like Marvel, and I was like, moving in phases like Marvel, what do you really mean by that? Now they have a structure that's structured like Marvel, but I would not, they're talking about building up solo movies to get to the big movie. Yes, you need one or two solo movies in between, but you got that already. You got the Black Adam, you got the Flash movie, okay? That's enough. All right? Let me be frank with you guys. 2023 or 2024. 2023 or 2024. We're supposed to have Justice League 1. Justice League 2, sorry. Somewhere in between there. That's how soon I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it down the road, 10 years down the road, 5 years. God damn it. Ben Affleck and them guys are going to be too old. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to have it, and you got to have it while the cooking is good. So, as fans, keep the faith, people. Keep on sending the message. Don't back down. In fact, increase your message. Let Warner Brothers know, without a doubt, we the Snyderverse back. You can have Black Adam. You can have all that. You can, you rewind some of them Hamada movies, whatever. That's cool. We never said you need to cancel movies. We never said none of that. Now you cancel some of the movies that was coming out because you thought it was probably not going to make the buck that you want, and it wasn't the focus that you want. Fine. You are on. Our lines kind of cross because it's like your focus is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. That's what our focus is. It's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, Flash. You know what I'm saying? Martian Manhunter. You know what I'm saying? That's all focus. You know what I mean? And you add some more guys in there. I got no problem with that. Shazam. You can put Shazam in there. The show Shazam family if you want. You know what I mean? And whatever else we have. Or maybe even throw in a Black Adam. Who knows? But at the end of the day, we focus on one thing. So if our paths can cross, great. But we are not backing down. We're not backing down. Sorry, that's just the way how it goes. We are about restoring the Snyderverse, and there's plenty of room in DC for the Snyderverse to operate. If you wanted to be the primary, which is what it seems like DC movies been doing all the time, especially David Sandberg. Shout out to David Sandberg. He's been calling back and continuously. He has never wavered in terms of referring to the Snyderverse. He even referred to Batman v Superman. I got lots of respect for David Sandberg, even though I don't particularly, dig his Shazam and stuff. But I think Shazam benefited from the fact that his continuity has continuously been not Justice League 2017, but Zack Snyder's Justice League. He's gone back and built off of Zack Snyder, just showing you that Shazam is in the same world, the same universe. This is a very powerful, potent point we can build on. Shazam is in the same universe, believe it or not, as Zack Snyder's Justice League, as Batman v Superman, as and that is a very important thing because what he's doing is flexing the DCEU. He flexed it out. Basically said we can have comedy in here. We could have comedy in this universe. We could have a different look in this universe. He did something really powerful. Okay? Aquaman's in the sea, so that's a totally different world. So Aquaman could have done whatever he wanted. But Shazam was in the city. So I give David Sandberg mad props because what he's done is he kind of flexed out. He kind of flexed the universe. And that's what he did. That's what he brought to the universe. Now, his movie also, unlike the cheesiness of Wonder Woman, his action scenes wasn't too bad. His action scenes wasn't bad at all. And, Zachary Levi, he do his thing. He do his thing. I ain't gonna knock the man too much. You know what I mean? I don't particularly take to his character like that, but he did his thing, and he touched the audience they needed to touch. I just hope that Shazam could survive, Fury of the Gods could survive, and maybe because they had a Superman at the end of Shazam, but they did not have Henry Cavill. Listen to me, man. You need Henry Cavill. The Superman in movies right now is Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill would put that freaking stamp down on Shazam. And once he does that, we're in because you're in because Henry is the guy. But Henry has to behave. Listen, this is a very important point. Henry cannot behave like Justice League 2017 Superman. He can't. He's got to behave consistent with the Zack Snyder Justice League Superman at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, what suit he comes back in, I don't care. But what's important is he needs to be that guy. Okay? And that's it. And Shazam is a tremendous property. I know Shazam is a funny character, so you don't have to tell me that. So I understand what Shazam should be. And Zachary Levi, again, I'm warming up to him and his Shazam. I mean, did I watch the entire Shazam movie? No, I did not. Okay, because I was not interested in DC like that. But if you, and David Zaslav understands this, if you take Henry Cavill's Superman and you bring him into Shazam in an interesting way, let me emphasize that again. Because you gotta get it right. You gotta get it right. You can have a funny universe like Shazam, but Superman, who's a much more serious character and much more centered, much more grounded character, can fit into that universe and give the impact that is necessary. And that's the important thing. I'm going to say this about Marvel. Captain America stayed a serious character. He don't pop no damn jokes. I never seen Captain America in every single team up movie, whether it's Avengers 1, Avengers 2 with Civil War, or Avengers Infinity. He stayed in character. He didn't pop no jokes. That's why Joss Whedon screwed up Superman trying to make him make jokes. You know what I mean? So Superman is a character that if you put him in correctly into Shazam, dude, you want to see Shazam blow up? Put Superman in it. You want to see Black Adam blow up? Put Superman in it. You want to see, well, now we're interested in Aquaman. I'm interested in Aquaman now because Batman's in it. And not Michael Keaton Batman. That's cool. Y'all want to do that? Don't care about him. We want, and he was a great Batman, by the way, for his time. Don't get me wrong. But we way past him now. Okay? Christopher Nolan's Christian Bale, took it to a certain level, and then Ben Affleck just took it to a whole other level. Okay? It's what it is. What's the guy's name? Robert Pattinson. We got respect for him. He's a respectable Batman. Don't get me wrong. I didn't watch the movie, but he's a respectable Batman. I know he's a good actor. He's a respectable Batman, and for what they were doing with Batman, he serves for that story. Okay? So I'm not disrespecting him. I don't really disrespect much Batman, except for, George Clooney's Batman, which is like, oh, come on now. But basically what I'm saying is, Ben Affleck's Batman. We want, see, y'all, how can we build something if you keep on changing the faces of people? Right? You talk about, it's interesting. The Marvel fans and certain DC fans talk about how you need to have many movies so we can get acquainted with the character. Well, if you want to get acquainted with the character and keep on changing the character's face, what's going to happen? That's why we need Henry Cavill. We went on a journey with him from Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So he's the Superman. So why are you trying to change him? Doesn't matter what he's asking for. Give the man the money and let's get it on. Okay? It's real common sense. It's like y'all tried to do a faceless Superman in Shazam and it fell flat. That's why people didn't come to see Shazam. If Henry Cavill was in Shazam, that movie would have blown. Especially if the ending was good enough, that movie would have blown. It would have made mad money. Because again, Shazam is a special part, and it ain't no faceless Superman. I'm not gonna cuss. It ain't no faceless Superman, man. Come on now. You gotta get Henry Cavill in there. The Rock. Bro, you see what Super Pets is doing? You see it's trash. Why? Super Pets is trash because there's no Henry Cavill in it. If you're gonna do Superman in your Walt Disney style looking movie, it's supposed to be geared for kids. And you know why Warner Brothers is failing with the kids? Y'all don't understand. The kids be watching Zack Snyder's stuff. They be watching his stuff. They watch his stuff. So if you want to, and then the cartoons and everything look like Zack Snyder's depiction of the stuff. So if you really want to get these characters, you want to get these movies with these characters that are sort of kind of face. Wonder Woman, they did it right. Wonder Woman was linked to Bruce Wayne. He gave her the picture. The whole damn thing is piggybacking off of Batman v Superman. For crying out loud. And then she went through memory lane when she would look at the picture. Come on, man. They didn't show the face of Bruce Wayne in that movie, but Bruce Wayne, you got to connect it. You got to connect it because you're riding off of the energy from the previous movie. That's how you build. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. It's a standalone movie, sure, but you build off the last movie. That's what Patty Jenkins, she took the battle and she went with it. With Wonder Woman 84, there was no connection to Super. You know who says this all the time? Leroy Kong. You got to have a connection with the Trinity. If y'all link up, you got to connect. Or speak about the lack of connection. You got to, because you're building off of it. How can you have a universe and you're not building off of what its foundation is? So, Shazam tried to do that. And David Sandberg, you better pay Henry Cavill to get him in that movie. Get him in Shazam. Somehow, some way. Got to find a way to get him in there. Because Superman's his hero. So why isn't Superman somewhere in that movie? Whether he's on the news talking about something or something. But yet, and you need to have Henry Cavill. We must look and see Henry Cavill's face. Let me tell you why it's so important. Because the Snyder Cut movement, the Snyderverse movement, is going to back you. Don't bullshit nobody now. But they're going to back you when they realize, oh, this thing's coming to a head. Maybe we'll see Shazam in Justice League Part 2. You'll have to think. You're building something. You have to be going somewhere. If it's just solo movies for solo movies' sake, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's what Marvel did. DC's doing it. DC's doing it was doing it the right way, because Zach was taking these characters and bringing them together, and then you get their backstory. Look at how Zach does films. Man of Steel, he didn't go from the beginning when Clark was a baby on Earth and get discovered by the parents. That's a waste of goddamn time. He focused on the real stuff and then reflected back to show you the challenges that Clark had as a child and the good times he had as a child when he's playing with the dog and so on and so on and so on. They want you to understand what you need to carry the story forward. Similarly, with Justice League, we've been introduced to a number of characters now. The hard work, the heavy lifting has been done. Now it's up to the individual solo films, but they must tie in with Justice League. If you have a discontinuity, which is what the previous administration dropped the ball on, because they tried to divorce the foundation that was set. And if you look at the foundation that was set, Aquaman, which is Jason Momoa, was smart enough to understand that there needed to be a connection, whether the continuity was a little bit botched up, because Wonder Woman continuity was a little bit botched up, right? It was a little bit botched up, but they drew from BVS and the picture in BVS and Ben finding the picture. When we look at Aquaman, Aquaman begins where Zack Snyder's Justice League left off, not where Justice League 2017 left off. Yes, some of the details are different, and the stories kind of changed up a little bit, but he began there. And this is the cool thing. Hear me out. The cool thing about it is this: James Wan is saying that Zack Snyder's Justice League is the real Justice League. And Jason Momoa was an advocate for the Snyder Cut. Those two things put together is what made the movie a success. You have to piggyback off of the previous set of films. This is the way how this universe is wired, for continuity. That's why Suicide Squad, even though the studio manipulated and meddled with it and stuff, piggyback off the death of Superman. Right? Okay. Now, why did Good Faith and James Wan and all these things fail? Great points here. Off topic. Apologies, but do you enjoy any of the DCU that isn't one of Snyder's films? Of course. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman. Great movie. There's another movie. Of course, but this is not the DCU, but Joker. I love Joker. Todd Phillips' Joker is phenomenal film, and I know there's going to be a sequel. There's no need for a sequel, but apparently they're getting paid big bucks to make the sequel, so they're doing it. So we're going to have Joker and Harley Quinn in this universe. Whereas that's not the universe we wanted to see Joker and Harley Quinn. We wanted to see Joker from the Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn. But instead we're getting this with Todd Phillips. It's what it is. Warner Brothers, clueless as usual. Clueless. But I want to see David Ayer's cut so I can really go into detail. Unfortunately, again, the Harley Quinn movie Birds of Prey just flopped. Really just flopped. Warner Brothers tried to get it to go. But again, the problem with it was not, it wasn't the actress who wanted to have this movie. It's just the way how the studio does things, man. That regime was just terrible. Okay? It was just terrible. You know what I mean? And Zaslav and they at least they're saying that they're focusing on quality. Quality. Oh my God. What's the weirdest thing? Seeing these weird ass Marvel fans back in BVS day talking about Zack Snyder. He don't do good graphics, this BD graphics and stuff. And then Patty Jenkins stood up for Wonder Woman and said how, I love film. I like shooting on film, not digital. I love the graininess of film. And then Wonder Woman came out with a grainy film, and you know what I'm saying? My point being this: we had some small-minded people and people with agendas who Warner Brothers listened to for some dumb reason, and screwed up something that was really good. And it looks like we're going back on course with that. Not to say, now there's a blessing in disguise here. One, Hamada and Tommy Ebert and Ann Sarnoff, they were able to give the people who were complaining about Zack Snyder's films, they got rid of Zack Snyder and they gave those people what those people were asking for. Okay, but sadly, when those people got what they asked for, they didn't support it. All right, and they call it shit film and so on. And suddenly they were on Zack Snyder's side for the Snyder Cut late in the game when we knew that Snyder Cut was coming. Okay, all the time they was like, no, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist, blah 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 blah, and so on. Right. So what I'm trying to say is that you know Warner Bros. Should have never listened to that. After Batman v Superman, it fell short, and they were expecting, they had lofty expectations for it, 1.5 million or something like that, and it felt, it's 800 or something, it was almost half of that. But saying that, the point is they should have continued on that line, and they should have continued the universe. They tampered with Suicide Squad when they shouldn't have tampered with Suicide Squad. They should have stayed on course because that's how it begins. When you're doing something groundbreaking and different, you're going to get resistance until people realize what you're doing and they come to accept and get acclimatized to what you're doing. That's why Zack Snyder's Man of Steel has 57% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, which is ridiculous. Batman v Superman, 24% on Rotten Tomatoes. But Zack Snyder's Justice League, same style, same director, gets 71% on Rotten Tomatoes because people come to get used to and accept what Zack Snyder does in his films, and realize the depth and the brilliance of how he directs films. Okay. So Zack Snyder is the hottest thing in directing right now, but it's not because he anything about him changed directorially. It's the perception of him has changed. Okay, so what I'm saying is that and that's kudos to the fans. You guys made this happen. Okay, because there's a lot of people who are staying quiet, but they're big fans of Zack Snyder. People in the industry, people outside the industry, and there are also people and a lot of respect for him. But in the open, the trades and all these people, the scoopers and all, they were bashing Zack Snyder because again, you had the engine of Warner Brothers, people inside of Warner Brothers who were jealous of him and hated him and wanted to get rid of him. Okay, and when they got their way and they were able to start putting together their idea of the universe, it flopped. And guess who's behind that? Jeff Johns, Mr. Flopper, right? So, ultimately, in the end, we're hoping for David Zaslav to be able to hear us and to allow us to get that movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay? He knows, and we know from many different things, as he was getting into the institution, he's a fan of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is a very good thing. He talks about it. He mentioned it. We know that he is about rebuilding broken relationships. He spoke about that before. So if you start putting things together, you realize, and he's come back with a sort of older regime, guys from before, the Emmerich era and the Hamada and the Sarnoff. So that's also very good that Zaslav took these kinds of people who are more about the directors and their vision. That is a very good thing. So all of these pieces really are nice fertile soil for us to get the Snyderverse restored. That is Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3, particularly. So that's good news for us. Whether we will get several other movies, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Batman movie with Ben Affleck. I'm pretty sure about that one. Because Zaslav's not going to let that Batman go to waste. I believe we're going to get a Man of Steel, or a second solo Superman movie. I think that's going to happen. Whether it's going to be Henry Cavill or not, that is dependent again on if we see Henry Cavill appear in any of these films that are going to come out. If he does, then we know Zaslav is on board with Henry Cavill like he is with Ben Affleck, and he's going to carry Henry Cavill into probably a Superman movie somewhere down the road. So these are the things that we're looking at. Of course, do understand that what's his name? The Star Wars guy. I forgot what his name is. Who's supposed to come to DC and also sort of kind of like put together a universe. J.J. Abrams. He's a good friend of Zach's as well. Zach and him play along with Star Wars. So actually, um, JJ having maybe another universe. We see Black Adam has another universe going on there with JSA. So Black Adam with that universe there, JJ Abrams with the universe over there. I mean, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, restore the Snyderverse, being another possible option. It's multiverse, so you can have things go this way or that way or the other way, and that's the thing that people don't realize, you know, and you can kind of merge them, overlap them, and stuff like that. That's what they're trying to shoot for, but they're doing a crappy job of doing it with these low budget films. They don't look appealing or anything. So I think Zaslav's about to kind of put a bigger picture down. Now I don't know, based on facts, I don't know if the Snyderverse is going to be restored based off the facts we have. What I do know is I believe and have the faith and the hope that it will. I don't have facts to support it. And like I said, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So I am still in faith, operating on faith like Bruce Wayne was, the hopeful Batman, and I believe that the Snyderverse will be restored, and we will get Justice League Part 2, definitely. 3, maybe even 4, the way how things are going. So, looking forward to that. That will be in the next, that whole set of stuff will happen within 10 years, I believe. So, we're looking forward to that, but of course, the actors are getting older. You can't just kind of hold it out forever. I would love to see if they wrap that up, if they pass the torch, or if they kind of merge it in. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a lot of open areas for open, debate on what will actually happen. But ultimately, in the end, I do believe it's happening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We took an hour and 17 minutes and 30 seconds to go through it. I thought I'd spend some time talking about Zaslav and what they said, and the projections, and so on. Essentially, they're committed to Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, the Trinity. Seeing them on the screen, that's a very good thing for us because Zack Snyder was focused on that. And also, they're very much committed to quality versus quantity, which again is very good words for us as fans, DC fans or otherwise, to hear. Yeah, Zaslav's about knocking balls out the park, so home runs. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets that established. In terms of the finances, they talked a bit about the finances, where they see themselves, in 10 years' time, where they see themselves in 2024. So, again, you see what they're doing and how they're structuring things to make that happen, and expanding themselves as well, expanding the company. So it's a lot that they have on their plate, and they have 1,000 employees, I believe, so they cut a lot of employees off. But they're streamlining and they're moving forward. Zaslav, that's what he does. He cuts certain projects that he doesn't think lines up with the vision, and they spoke specifically. They itemized what their visions were and so on for the company. And I don't need to go through those. That's not really relevant to the movies and restoring the Snyderverse. So you guys just keep on pressing forward, keep the faith, and if you operate purely on faith, you're gonna, that red cape is going to hit back. So we'll have to see what happens as time goes along. But I do hope that Zaslav will come with something pretty explicit that would get the fandom fired up. And once we get fired up, it's over. Because once we get fired up, the ball. Once you have the fan base behind you, it's over. It's over. So hopefully he taps into us, because we're free advertising, we're free everything. We ready and able to go as far as necessary to see Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 happen. That's what I got for you guys. I'm Christ M. Disciple. You guys have a blessed day. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.